Well, Hollywoodbets Durban July entries are out. We know the horses that are intended to take the path into Africa's greatest horse race, but as for racing on this Monday at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, we're looking forward to the 9-race program. It's another public holiday of racing action coming your way. It's wildly competitive, but we'll get into that in just a moment. Just to let you know about what else is coming through, champion season, of course, starts on Saturday the 3rd of May at Hollywoodbets Greyville, where we've got a very interesting book of entries when it comes to the World Sports Betting KZN Guineas and also the World Sports Betting KZN Fillies Guineas and the Independence on Saturday Drill Horse Stakes. That's the traditional starting point for the rest of the season as those Grade 1 start to spark up down in Durban. But also not forgetting a day after that, we're back here at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth for the second leg of our winter features. Of course, we've got the Legal Eagle Stakes coming up on Sunday the 4th of May here at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Garrick's, of course, brilliantly won the first leg of those features when winning the Variety Club Mile. Let's see if he's going to line up and be part of the action. It's well worth the entrance fee, as it always is, and just a little bit of left field information. We were here last Monday and we thoroughly enjoyed our day at the races, although the results might not have been to everyone's taste. Certainly the entertainment and the action and the hospitality was. Now, as far as this 9-race program is concerned, the first gets underway at 12:30. We're recording this well in advance because of all the public holidays, so betting is unfortunately not available at the time of recording. That might give you a little bit of a blank canvas when working out the pros and cons of this 9-race card. So let's get into it. Hollywoodbets Kenilworth welcomes you maiden juvenile plate over 1,200 metres, where a lot of well-bred first-timers line up. I'm going to start with a horse with the best form in the race, and that's going to be number 9 Spirit. Ashton Aries and Pete Stain team up, talking about Garrick's. This in the colours of Jared and Lawrence Verners in partnership with Mukund Gujadir. His 3 runs today to been fair, 2 of them behind Military Command. Military Command, well above average, trained by Peter Muscat. Last start from Spirit was a good run, beaten 4 lengths behind All the Rage. All the Rage looks to have some good qualities about him with the way that he won first up the half-brother to Lapulga, trained by Candice Bass Robinson. So number 9 Spirit of the race runners does set a standard, but is it a particularly high standard? Not 100% convinced. So the market's going to be the best gauge. Thankfully, this race is not part of the exotics, so you got a little bit of room to wriggle with and also check the market and see if there are any hints. But all of the following make some appeal genetically. Number 4 Daniel, number 5 Madrarua. How's this? A son of Frankel out of the fantastic mare owned by Ridgemont, Run Fox Run. If he's got half the ability of Mom and Dad, a quarter of the ability of Mom and Dad, he could be quite special. 6 Tomahawk Bill by Buffalo Bill Cody, he can spark up first up. Number 7 Black Eagle, also very well bred for Hollywood Racing. 10 Canal Skater. 11 Happy Verse, the first null 2-year-old to step out in Prince Yaspar. Number 13 Glen Almond, also out of a Grade 1 winning mare Return Flout. So all of those make appeal genetically. It won't take too much from them to feature first up. It could even be a clean sweep for the first timers, but on what I see in front of me at the time of recording, number 9 Spirit will be the horse that will at least have a target on his back. So I'll put him up as an each way play in race number 1, and hopefully he can get into the top 3. But it's not a race that I'll be getting too involved in until the talk is out. Race number 2 begins the bipot. Cape Turf Club Syndicate's maiden plate over 1,000 metres, off at 1:05. Nearly time to start renewing all of those memberships, and we know the benefits that you can get and all the big days that you can attend and all sorts of nice, pretty things that go with it. Again, first timers do make a little bit of appeal in race number 2, but I'm going to start with a horse with form that does make some sort of impression. That'll be Call Me Jane. We're having a look at her debut run on the 29th of October, a long time ago at Hollywoodbets Dermaville, when she ran second behind Priscilla Maisie, who I think is a reasonable filly trained by Glenn Cotts, and I think there's some wins to come. On her debut run at Hollywoodbets Dermaville, big chance. On her second start behind Love Story, where obviously things went awry, you'd be a little bit rough around the edges and perhaps not giving her too much of a vote of confidence. What we did see last Monday with regard to potential track bias, high numbers did the job in the final race, with Paratrooper drawn high up on the outside, and also Happy Days featuring in that final race. So I think Corne Orfer, with this nifty handwork coming out of the stalls, will be able to get number 11 Call Me Jane into the right position. There's speed and more speed in the pedigree, so maybe coming out fresh like she potentially did on debut could be the avenue to her running a better race, and I think that she'll be in and around the action. Again, first-timers here do need a market check. We've got number 2, Dive Bomber, well-bred son of Lancaster Bomber, trained by Lucinda Woodruff. Interesting that he didn't make the float to Durban, so he's obviously around because the owners are based here in the Western Cape, so that could be the angle there. 3 Le Turbo by Vercingetorix out of Hollywood Boulevard. Remember when Hollywood Boulevard beat the mighty Gugu at Turffontein? And she's also produced a number of well above average horses, so Brett and James Crawford send out number 3 Le Turbo. 6 Yanaman Vatkan. 7 1 Cape was a lovely horse. He was sold here at the winter sale, the son of One World, acquired by Greg Bortz, Gina Goldsmith and Nick Johnson. JP Funamava takes her out for Justin Snaith, so he's worth a market check. A lot of speed in the pedigree as well. And number 9 Green Commander, trained by Vaughan Marshall, Sean Veal on board, could also represent a little bit of interest first up in race number 2. But I've tipped a bar pot. I think the bar pot's going to pay all right. I've also tipped a pick 6 that we'll get to in just a moment. But my bar pot play on this card features 1 banker. That'll be in the final leg, a horse that I'm very bullish about, but in the first leg there are sadly no bankers. 3, 7 and 11, 3 horses in leg 1, which is race 2, by 8 and 9, by 8 and 9 again, by 2 and 5, by 2, 6 and 8, and then banker 4, 006. We'll talk about him in due course. Race number 3 starts the place accumulator. This gets underway at 20 to 2. Woodhill Racing Syndicate maiden plate. They go 1,400 meters in the first leg of the place accumulator. I think here you can set out your stall and pretty much narrow this race down to 2. Number 8, Exalted Love. Justin Snaith and Richard Faree team up with his daughter Quisolo, and I think that she is probably, or he is probably the right place to kick off. And I think the key with this son of Quisolo out of the Silvano mare Equina is the step up in distance, the first run around the turn. Every inch of the pedigree suggests that he'll appreciate the step up in distance. I thought his debut, which came very early, so must have been showing some pretty good work back at home to have stepped out in early December, when 4th behind Orbit. Although Orbit was well beaten a week ago, I think the winner simply above average in the form of the baby owned by Greg Bortz. And then 2nd up behind Island Forever, worth another chance, in fact a few more chances as Island Forever out of that flat second run from Island Forever. But I think number 8, Exalted Love, may have found the right field here to go very close. And I think a little bit of time off just to brush off the cobwebs, given time to mature and step forward and perhaps learn the trade a little bit more and get a couple of extra gallops under the belt, I think will suit number 8, Exalted Love. So I'm going to tip him on top. If there is a danger, it's going to come from the neighbour, number 9, Real Stunner. Louis Mqutwa and the Crawfords potentially have a good day. Has been off also since mid-February, but with that said, does have a couple of nice runs that do make some appeal. It wouldn't be surprising if he stepped out and came out and won on this occasion. I think that he's got some respectable numbers. Penultimate start behind Red Dawn definitely sets him up as a horse of interest. Red Dawn came out and won subsequently, so all of that does stack up as a compelling case for number 9, Red Stunner. But number 8, Exalted Love, is a horse I'm going to lead with because I think he's got a little bit more scope to improve. There's not much form elsewhere. 2, Sierra Sagrada does have scope to improve as well. Fair run on debut behind North Point with that form line very well franked. Goes from 1,000 meters to 1,400 meters, so that could be more to his liking. But as far as race number 3 is concerned, I'm going to box up the swingers 8 and 9, and hopefully the both of them can get into the top 3. Race number 4, first leg of the pick 6, celebrating Centurion member Torben Herbold's birthday, class 5 over 1,400 meters. Good old Torben has a lot of shares in the Centenary Syndicate with Candice Bass Robinson, the likes of What a Fortune and Stu's Girl. He's an absolute hoot. We love chatting to Torben, and if you're having a bad day, he's the type of man who can make you have a good day. The first leg of the pick 6, though, this would set us up for a good day if we crack this one right. Lots in with chances. Let's go and have a look at Trey Chic on the 16th of April. Pete Buerter and Cornell for team up. 16th of April, not that long ago, so this is a fit filly with some good form. Not necessarily form that screams a horse to trust, but overdue, I think, is the theme when it comes to number 8, Trey Chic. I thought she ran into a little bit of trouble last time out when beaten just over 2.5 lengths by Lady Lookalike. She obviously received a little bit of weight from Lady Lookalike, who looked to be many people's play of the day in hindsight. A lot of messages going around about the tendency to lean towards Lady Lookalike, and I think her 2 runs before that, Tambourine Man, who at this type of level is always a solid proposition, might well be the case that makes number 8, Trey Chic, an interesting runner and one of the leading protagonists in the first leg of the pick 6. Definitely not a race that one would get too carried away about. Certainly nothing here that's going to run in next year's World Sports Betting Cape Town Met. Of the others that get included into the pick six, number one, Montlasseur, beaten last time by Trippy Silk, but no disgrace. Got away with one, in my opinion, in the penultimate start when Sundays ran into all sorts of trouble. But Richard Ferree gave him a worldie of a ride. Richard's back on board, number one, Montlasseur, so that's got to count for something. And then also Iskrio. I think that he's a length or two better at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. There was a perfect race for him towards the end of March, but sadly we didn't have that. But he's definitely got the numbers and is always competitive at this level to make a case for number 9, Iskrio. Is drawn towards the outside, but I don't think that's too much of an issue because he's had his back to the wall a couple of times at Hollywoodbets Durbanville and been able to get himself out of jail. So I'm expecting a fair run from number 9, Iskrio. So it's a small field, a field of 9, and the pick 6 in the first leg shows 1, 8 and 9. Second leg wide open. I actually quite like the second race, although there's nothing solid in the race. I think there's a lot of chances and horses that might be worth keeping on sides with going forward. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 11, 13 and 16. By 2, 3, 6 and 8, there's that banker 006. The day revolves around him. By 1, 3, 4, 5, 8 and 9, penultimate, and 1, 3 and 7 to put a lid on things at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Let's go on to race number 5, starter jackpot number 1, Cape Racing Class 4. They go 1,400 metres. As mentioned, lots in here with chances. I really like the complexion of this race. I like the way that it's set up, and I think this could be a race to play a quartet, and that is my suggested bet, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Tuta Fay, Andrew Fortune, Justin Snaith team up. Heavy weight of 62.5, but the rating has come down steadily. He was at the peak of his powers about 2 years ago when he used to go to the front and beat fields a lot stronger than this. He was relentless up in front, dog with a bone, and he was able to fend off some pretty good horses who stepped up and did some pretty good things out of that. He lost his confidence, he lost his way. He was used in races that were potentially not necessarily well suited to him, but I think now he's come to the level that you're going to see a lot of spark from him. Justin Snaith's been in good form all around the country, winners in Durban, winners in Cape Town, had a fantastic last Monday, and the start of champion season has been glowing for Justin, and I'd expect that form to maintain. Now, this year, he's run to the likes of Sail the Seas, who holds an entry, obviously, for the World Sports Betting KZN Guineas, and also Let It Be Said, who's a well above average middle distance horse. And I think now Tuta Fay is, like I said, at the right level. Things are going to be pretty uncomplicated from his draw of 5, and I'd like to believe that he is now in the right place at the right time, despite the heavy weight. If he doesn't win, I think that opens it up for quite a lot of horses. I love the effort that number 2 War Chariot puts in time and time again. Having his 4th run this year, Michelle Ricks and Harold Crawford are having a good time of things. Steps up in distance, probably what he's looking for, being by Pomodoro. The Warpath side might make you a little bit dicey, but it's definitely worth the try. I thought his last run at Hollywoodbets Durbanville was full of merit behind Dumbledore, and Craig Zacky's engagement is no harm. I've got number 3 Scalini in my play. That's a horse to consider as well. And then down the page, the likes of Green Garnet, Muzieni's in town for just 3 rides. One of them will be number 4 Green Garnet. I thought the last start was fair. I thought the penultimate run when beating regulation was full of merit as well. His run on World Sports Betting Cape Town Met Day behind legal counsel puts him and Scalini pretty much in the same bracket, so just check out which way you're going to angle there. 7 and 8 were in. Boogie Fire, Devil Saint, consistent horses, hard to knock their chances, and 11, 13 and 16. I've got an inkling Commanding's going to get into the top 4 at a big price. Scottish Lynx, I think he's getting the hang of things. He's not the easiest to ride. JP Van der Merwe is back on board. Green Garnet finished in front of him last time out, but there is a swing at the weights, which makes number 13 Scottish Lynx some sort of proposition. And then Land of the Rising Sun, who finally got a confidence-boosting win last time and is now gelded. He's got an awful draw to contend with, but if he is taking considerable steps forward, he's not a horse that I'd be totally excluding out of the play. So the quartet in race number 5 is double float, 2 and 5 by the field. War Chariot and Tuta Fay, and hopefully something at a big price like a Commanding can get into the top 4. Race number 6, Race Cape, powered by Hollywoodbets Class 4, fillies and mares, 1,400 metres. I've narrowed this race down to 4 runners that inspire a little bit of confidence, but let's go and have a look at Pilot Flame on the 8th of March when she won when Richard Furry gave her a peach of a ride. Yes, Hollywoodbets was running fast, took her off to the front, and never really looked like there was going to be any restraint with number 2, Pilot Flame. But the way that she won and the way that she kicked out of that run when running 5th behind Captain's Destiny, I think pretty much gives her a good opportunity of being able to back it up. The key here is obviously Richard being re-engaged with his daughter, Master of My Fate, trained by Des McLachlan. But looking past her, I think there are a few horses here that also could be well set up. 3, 6 and 8 being my ideas. Number 3, My Only Weakness, last run was a little bit underwhelming behind Fun Zone, but she's worth another chance. Craig Zaki's back on board. Won her penultimate start, beating Miraculous. I think that thus far she's underachieved a little bit. I think she's overall better value for her career record, which reads 12 runs, 2 wins and 6 places. I think that she'll run a better race, and I think she'll go quite close. We've got the massive striding number 4, Russian Royal, who's not part of my trifecta that I'll bring to your attention in just a moment. But if you were looking for an alternative, she would definitely be it. Musi on board for Eric Sand. She's related to that famous Gimme Another Mother Russia, another Russia family. But 6 and 8 are the other horses that are in the play. Oni San, last time behind My Only Weakness, comes in here with a very positive swing at the weight. So wherever My Only Weakness is, Oni San should be right on her heels. Vaughan Marshall, bang in form. Sean Veal takes her out. And number 8, Lickety Split, probably outclassed last time. May have gone a little too far last time. Back to calmer waters, not prepared to put a line through her. JP Funamava takes her out for Justin Snaith, and there's no Rainbow Lorikeets in this field. Rainbow Lorikeet has got a pretty well thought out plan down in Durban this season, and she's getting better and better all the while. So from that perspective, that's got to be a big positive for Lickety Split's claims. Box trifecta, race number 6, 2, 3, 6 and 8. That's going to be my play. Race number 7. Last chance to play a pick 3, celebrating Centurion member Suzette Fillion's birthday C stakes. They go 1,800 metres off at 4 o'clock. Well, here we got 006. This is my play on the card. Louis Otwa takes a ride for the Crawfords. Always been held in high regard. Perhaps a little bit of a slow developer, but that's no surprise considering that he's getting the hang of things, getting better, getting stronger, running more consistently. And I thought his post-maiden run at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, where he took on Congressman, was not a bad effort by any stretch of the imagination. What I think punters need to be reminded of, and I know that the team Crawford are going to be annoyed with everyone banging this drum for quite a long time, but the start of the year was a muck time for the Crawford team. Horses were not at the peak of their powers, they were not performing, but a sudden turn from a professional yard, and now things are very much into the swing of everything with number 4, with the yard, and especially number 4, 006. This looks to be a pretty shallow race. There are horses here that have lost their way, a few horses that might be held by the handicapper, a couple of horses that have been to PE and didn't rip up any trees there. So I think the improving factor from number 4, 006 is going to set him up well. If there is a danger, it's number 8, Express Yourself. He was used as a pacemaker in the Splash Out Cape Derby when his stable companion, the Johnson companion, 8 on 18 was all the rage, and he delivered in no uncertain terms. 8 on 18, very, very close to the best 3-year-old colt in the country, if not the best. He's so down in class. A freshen up would do him a world of good. I'm sure he has been freshened up, but he's got 64 kilos to lug round. So that's taken me off the scent with number 8, Express Yourself. So for that reason, 4, 006, frame him up, horse to beat in race number 7. Race 8 is all over the place. Perfectly placed middle stakes for fillies and mares over 1,200 metres. Don't forget to tune into our perfectly placed interviews. Always little pearls of wisdom and lots of nuggets given out by the trainers and jockeys who are so kind to help us out in the mornings and lead in to all these race meetings. Race runs at 25 to 5, where a field of 9 face the starter, and the case can be made for so many. I want to start with number 8, Trip to Maputo. Let's have a look at her win on the 11th of February, where she got up in a nick of time when beating Miss World. Miss World's got a measure at the weights. There was a short head in it, and in fact, at the line, it might have been forgiven for thinking that Miss World may have just got the bob, but ultimately, number 8, Trip to Maputo, got the job done. Candice Bass Robinson's got a strong hand in this race with Babe Alicious and Andrew Fortune on board, and Winter Rainfall, who I think is still going to come back to form at some stage. But the last run at Fairview on the poly track was all wrong. That meeting was obviously due to take place in the grass. The trip was already made by Trip to Maputo up the garden route. She ran into trouble, took a brave run up towards the inside, and actually finished with her head in her chest, beaten 2.5 lengths behind Go Check with Love. Now, I'm of the opinion that what's going on in PE at the moment is very promising, especially from a 2-year-old perspective, but we'll visit that another day. The likes of Direct Hits and a number of others, another dance for me, who look like they can win anywhere else in the country, and Golden Palm obviously winning at Turfentine in the Wilgerbosdrift South African Fillies Nursery. But I'm of the opinion that right now PE racing's not been stronger, and I don't think there's any disgrace in being beaten 2.5 lengths, especially when you get done towards the inside rail in a listed feature in PE at the moment. So from that perspective, I've got a lot of time for number 8, Trip to Maputo, and I make her a runner. If I make her a runner, then by default number 9, Miss World, goes right into the play. Miss World, like I said, has got every opportunity of turning that form around. Tried 1400 meters last time. I think she'll ultimately reach 1400 meters and probably got a win or two to come over this distance. But I'm a little once bitten, twice shy. I'd rather have her in my pick 6 than out of my pick 6, even though winning has come at a premium for this daughter of One World, but she is a live chance. 4 Babylicious gets Andrew Fortune on board, but on the penultimate start on the 11th of February, she's got a little bit to find with Trip to Maputo. So why is she suddenly going to turn the form around? Is Fortune going to make that much of a difference? Last time over 1,000 meters, beaten by My Sensation. Absolutely no disgrace in that. And the most interesting horse in the race, in fact 2 horses in the race, 5 Worldcraft, not been seen since June, beat Rockapina in the maiden juveniles. I know that was Rockapina's debut, but Rockapina's gone on and done some very good things. She's in Durban for champion season. I anticipate that she'll need the run number 5 Worldcraft, but she is very interesting in this race. And number 3 Miss Marguerite, another horse who's capable. She had a fantastic summer festival, did this daughter of Master of My Fate, where she totally overachieved, and she's capable of popping up. So a very interesting 8th race. This is my play. Double float quartet 8 and 9 by the field. So Trip to Maputo and Miss World by the field. I think we might get a little bit more value than what you'd ordinarily get in a field of 9. 9th and last race, 5 Hollywoodbets Bright Future Class 5 Fillies and Mares over 1200 meters. This is a interesting race. 10, some tried and tested golden oldies involved here, but I'm going to lean with a degree of trepidation towards number 1 Poetic Princess. Fortune and Bass Robinson team up yet again. Had to go to PE to win her maiden when beating One Giant Leap, but maintained a pretty reasonable level straight out of the maidens with Hollywoodbets Dermaville running 4th behind the country championship leader Electric Fields. I know that Electric Fields was a little underwhelming just under 2 weeks ago, but with that said, the only thing that you're going to get from Poetic Princess that no one else in the race has got is consistency. Perhaps bar number 3 Cliffscape, who's a bit of an unknown in this race, but she's a live chance. But just that key consistency for this daughter of Water Winter might be the reason why things just work out for her on this occasion, and she potentially gets an opening of racking up her 2nd career win. The fact that Candice is persisting with her, I think, suggests that she might be of the opinion that she has got a couple of wins in the tank, especially during winter when waters are a little bit calmer. Number 3 Cliffscape, straight out of the maidens. Una the Unicorn came out and won. The case is pretty clear for number 3 Cliffscape. If she's ready and raring to go to take on this open older company and in the right place off her weight of 58, that's the key factor here, then she has every opportunity. I like how she tries this daughter of Canford Cliffs. That I think is her biggest asset and her biggest attribute. I think 4 Love Story's got a little bit more to come. I think she can get into the top 4. And then also down the page, number 7 Becky Sharp. Her last run was better behind Lucy Rocket, and although she's a bit of a handful on the way down to the start, things seem to be ironed out. In fact, I'm of the opinion that the worse she behaves, the better she runs, Becky Sharp, and she wasn't the easiest last time out, hence the turn of form. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. But from pure consistency and effort, number 1 Poetic Princess is the horse that I'm going to put up in the 9th and last. So that's a wrap as far as this preview is concerned. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell us what you think. Make some comments and be part of the action. Come and join us on this Monday. I've been told that May is a great time to be in Cape Town because it's not too wet yet. June is when things really start to open up, but it's also an opportunity for those horses that might like the mud to step out and do their thing here in the Western Cape. There's a lot going on in South African racing at the moment. It's an exciting time, as we all know, and let's hope that the week starts with a bang. Thanks very much for joining us. See you on Monday.